We all know that this is really important work, and we all know that as we design programs, that it's really essential that we do so intentionally to ensure that we break down barriers and we build bridges to help our apprentices, to help the people, people who are historically or people who are currently underserved and underrepresented in the teaching population access these opportunities and be successful in these opportunities. They are first and foremost people who have lives outside of their job and outside of their schoolwork, outside of their apprenticeship. And so when we think about people, we know that we need to think about the fact that all people need to have their baseline Maslow's needs met, right? Food, security, shelter. Those are things that everybody needs in order to be able to do anything over and above simply exist. We need to think about people's limitation in time. Some of our apprentices might have second or third jobs to make ends meet. They might have issues with transportation or childcare, right? They might have caring for aging parents, all of these things that could be going on in their lives outside of their apprenticeship that are impacting or could impact their ability to access your programs, the programs that are created, and to be successful in those same programs. We have to think about our apprentices as students, as learners. And so we need to think about supporting them in much the same way as we think about supporting our students anyway. Right? Are they English language learners? Do they struggle with math? Are there math requirements in their instruction? What are the math requirements to taking the praxis? Can they pay for their tuition if they need to? Can they support the buying any materials that they might need for their classroom, to meet the needs of their classroom instruction? Those sorts of things are all things that could be barriers for your apprentices in their life as a student. Our apprentices are teachers in our classrooms, right? They're maybe co-teachers, maybe they're paras, but they are fulfilling the role of an educator in a building. And so that means we need to think about the culture of that building that they're going into. Is it accepting of apprenticeship as a means to enter education? Is it accepting of individuals who might not be coming from the same background as everybody else that's there at that school? Are they able to pass their certification exams? Do they have the supports required for planning and pedagogy? Do they understand planning and pedagogy? And what sort of mentorship opportunities do they have to build that capacity? When we think about supporting our apprentices, we need to think about supporting them as people, as students, and lastly, as workers, in this case, as teachers. At GFF, we have developed this framework for supporting diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility in registered apprenticeship, framed around sort of two large buckets, right? So the employer structures, the things that are within the employer's locus of control, and then the external organizations, the things that you might need to, or employers might need to look to external partnerships. Apprentices might need to look to external partnerships to really support or to continue to facilitate the implementation and success of programs. We have three categories, three things in red that are about the design of the program. So as employers are creating their apprenticeship programs, right, we want them to think about the fact that, one, apprentices need to earn a living wage. I think that pretty well speaks for itself. That we want to be providing our apprentices with the opportunity to advocate for the support that they might need to be successful. We want to give our apprentices agency to ensure that they are successful. And ultimately, as programs are implemented and sustained into the future, we want to ensure that we're collecting data, we're collecting the right data, and that we're evaluating that data to ensure continuous improvement. Yellow dots. These yellow dots are all about the apprentice experience. So first, we want to ensure that we have equitable recruiting practices, that we're not cherry picking or unintentionally biasing our recruitment pools, and that our recruitment practices ensure or provide as much access to people who are currently underrepresented and underserved in the teaching population. We want to ensure that in the instruction that those individuals who are recruited and come into our apprenticeship programs receive is accessible, and has all of the hallmarks of really sound pedagogy, right? It's got universal design, it's got differentiation, it's got accommodations for individuals who learn differently. We want to ensure that we're providing quality mentorship to all of our apprentices, right? To ensure that those mentors are able to guide, help support, and really ensure the success of our apprentices. And when a mentor can identify something that is needed as a support that an apprentice needs to be successful, that's really part of those retention services, right? That's part of the other supports that an apprentice is going to need to be successful, to continue in the program, to be successful in completing the program, and ultimately to stay. There are external organizations that can help to provide supports, whether it's time, treasure, or talent, to meet all of the needs of these apprenticeship programs that get developed, that get designed, get implemented, and ultimately we want to ensure get sustained into the future.